Hello, I'm Mike Mosher. Comics are back at SVSU. SVSU students have been doing comics for almost 20 years, publishing them on paper and online as well. You can see most of them online. So, what's the class? We start by looking at about 130 years of cartoons, newspaper comics, caricatures, humor magazines in the United States. And you get a chance to create some referencing what you see. We research those media around the world. And that includes Asian manga traditions that probably a lot of you are most familiar with. So, heroes and heroic fantasy, characters that you know from movies, were first realized very wonderfully in books that use a real nice balance of light and dark in their rendering. You'll be working with your own hero story. Some of you may not feel too comfortable about drawing figures. Well, I'll give you some pointers about that. Storytelling is important, and you'll break down your final comic in stages, and each of those stages will be critiqued by the class and graded. The scripts, sometimes you write your own, sometimes they're provided. We call comics the poor man's movie, and we'll learn how to set up shots comparable to movie making. Those of you who've done motion graphics can excel at this. Maybe you'll end up doing storyboards in the industry. Finally, I think the greatest development in comics in my lifetime has been autobiographical comics, really getting close to the heart, people telling stories that sometimes pain them of their fears, their family histories, the men, women, all nationalities in this country, LGBTQ, rich stories. What's your story that you want the skills to be able to produce and publish? Those of you in the fine arts side of the house, artists from Andy Warhol and Roy Lichtenstein, up to Jim Shaw, internationally famous artist from Midland, have referenced the comics, been inspired by them. Okay, so you're thinking, what about your career with all this? Tech people love comics. I was doing some interface graphics for one big computer company's research labs, and they asked me, can you do a workshop, comics for computer scientists, just because they wanted to watch me draw and to follow along. Simplicity of my comics worked with the early personal computers limitations. So I ended up as senior graphic designer in one big company. And on the first day, they stick a jazzy graphic novel in my face and say, can you make our on-screen training and its interface look like this? A challenge. So Hope you end up with exciting challenges too. The art department brags about our alumnus Kyle Sarafolian, who after graduation went on to some more training in animation, and you can see projects he's worked on: Hit Monkey and Agent Elvis on Cartoon Network. And finally, a graduate student who asked to take the comics class, Ryan Foldy, who's now senior product and user experience designer for Eris Global. He said there should be 5 comics courses at SVSU. Well, let me get you started. Those of you who don't have prerequisites, let's talk. Show me your stuff. Convince me. Because here's your chance to seriously study comics. See ya.